Shalom, my friends. Welcome to this week's Word Study. Today we're going to be talking about worry and its closely related cousin, depression. We're going to do that through a study of Psalm, that's Tehillim. Psalm 37, verse 8 reads, refrain, stay away from anger. We're going to look at that word. And turn away from wrath. We're going to look at that word. Do not allow yourself to fret or worry. We're going to look at that word for fret or worry. Because it will only lead to evil. And we're going to look at that word. So the first word here is anger. That comes from Strong's number H639. And the word there is af. It's spelled Aleph, Pei. Aleph, picture of an ox head, has to do with being yoked to and taught by Abba, Father, Yahweh. Pei, picture of a mouth, has to do with speech, what comes out of your mouth. So the first part here is to refrain from anger, that is, refrain from af. That means remember to apply the teachings of Abba's word, to be yoked to him, so that you won't be wickedly going your own way. And I've said this in videos before. What is wicked? And we tend to think, something wicked as being like really ugly, But no, wicked in the Aramaic Hebrew sense simply means that someone is going their own way, and they're not going the way, the narrow, straight path. Af also says to watch your mouth. That's the ot pei. Watch your mouth. Don't allow yourself to verbally express negative thoughts. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. Proverb 18, verse 21. Again, the power of life and death is in the tongue. So watch your mouth. Don't let yourself say negative things. Don't speak it into the air. The next word we want to look at here is wrath. And that's Strong's number H2534. The word is chema, spelled chet mem he. Chet is a picture of a fence. It has to do with dividing, protecting, and surrounding. It speaks of the resurrection, the netchatef. And it also has to do with the gifts of the ruach, spiritual gifts operating in us. Then there's mem, picture of water. Has to do with the word. We are washed by the word. Mem has to do with mightiness, and sometimes it has to do with chaos. And then we have he, picture of a spiritual man. He says, look, behold. He has to do with revelation and the fifth dimension of ruach, spirit. So here we see turn away from wrath. Turn away from chema. Don't allow yourself to break out of Yahweh's Geder HaKodesh. Don't let yourself break out of the Father's hedge of protection around you, that fence. And don't forget the wisdom of his teaching, his word. And don't let yourself go wickedly on your own way instead of the way. Let the Ruach be active in you, not the flesh. The next word we're going to look at here is fret or worry. Don't let yourself worry. It only leads to evil. The word for fret or worry is Strong's H2734, and the word is chara, spelled chet resh he. Chet, once again, picture of the fence, has to do with dividing, and it has to do with protecting and surrounding. It has to do with the resurrection, the netchatef, the rapture, and it has to do with spiritual gifts operating in us. And then resh, picture of a man's head. It has to do with headship, and it has to do with the thoughts. And then we have he, once again, picture of the spiritual man. Look, behold, having to do with revelation, and the fifth dimension of ruach. So don't allow yourself to fret or worry. Don't allow yourself to chara. Don't let yourself break out of Yahweh's Gader HaKodesh. Don't break out of his hedge of protection that surrounds you. And don't forget who your headship is. Don't allow yourself to wickedly be going your own way instead of the way, the narrow path, the straight path that leads to the Father that so few find. And let the Ruach, his spirit, be active in you, not your flesh. Then finally, we look at the word for evil, and that is Strong's number H7489. The word there is ra'ah. It's spelled resh, ayin, ayin. Resh, again, picture of a man's head. Has to do with headship. It has to do with thoughts. And then we have ayin, 2 times, double fold, picture of an eye. This has to do with spiritual sight and vision. It has to do with watching and knowing. And it has to do with his word and his ruach converging in your soul, in your living experience. And the psalm says, worry can only lead to evil. Worry can only lead to ra'ah. Your headship becoming other than Elohim. Your thoughts turning away from Elohim and towards the things of the flesh and the things of the world. That's where worry gets you. And so your spiritual sight and your spiritual vision becomes dimmed. Your watching and your knowing becomes filled with darkness. His word and his ruach are no longer converging in your living experience, and instead lies and deception are converging in your living experience. So, Elohim is telling us in Psalm 37:8, refrain from anger, turn away from wrath, do not allow yourself to worry, because it will only lead to evil. In other words, always remember to apply the teachings of Abba's word, to always remain yoked to him so that you won't be wickedly going your own way. What does it mean to be yoked to him? You are tied to him, yoked to him, and you let him direct the way, not yourself. Always guard your tongue, never allowing yourself to verbalize or to express any negative thoughts. Again, Proverb 18, verse 21. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. Keep yourself safely surrounded by Yahweh's Geder HaKodesh, his hedge of protection, meditating on his teachings, on his word, all day long. Keep yourself on the straight and narrow path, never allowing yourself to wickedly go your own way instead of the way, so that his Ruach, his indwelling Ruach, is active in you instead of your flesh being active. If you're meditating on his word all day, thinking about his word, just take a psalm, one short proverb, and dwell on it all day. If you're doing that, your flesh is going to be subdued, and his indwelling Ruach is going to be augmented. Always remind yourself that Elohim is your headship and never anything other than Elohim. If you're worrying about something, you are making it your headship, so to speak. You're giving it your attention instead of him. You're magnifying a problem, in a sense, worshiping it. So you always remind yourself, Elohim is your headship, never anything other than him, so that your spiritual sight and vision does not become dimmed, so that you're watching and knowing his light and not the darkness and confusion that surrounds us in this world, and so that his word and his Ruach are always converging in your living experience, your soul, instead of the lies and deception that fill the days we are in. Someone recently asked me to pray for them because they suffer from worry and they're depressed all the time. They suffer from depression. But my prayers are not so much what they need as is fellowship with the Father and his Word, Yeshua, and fellowship with other believers. Depression is a very popular ailment these days, and it is something that will never be cured or fixed by any doctor, because doctors know not what the cause is. They just, want to administer pills. I mean, doctors these days are cleared by the pharmaceutical industry. All the medical colleges are financed by the pharmaceutical industry, and doctors these days all they know is pharmaceutical solutions. Not like when I was a kid. But at any rate, people are running to doctors all of the time because of depression, and they give them pills that one of the major side effects is suicide. That'll help your depression. Well, he killed himself. Great, he's not depressed anymore. We fixed it, didn't we? Crazy. Depression will never be cured or fixed by any doctor because they do not know what the cause is. They always focus on symptoms instead of causes. The singular cause of depression is nothing other than a lack of fellowship with Elohim and a lack of fellowship with other believers. Now, if you are worrying a lot and you want to stop it, start spending time in prayer and praising the Father Oh, Abba, Father, thank you so much for this, that, and the other thing. I am so grateful for the things that you give me. Praise will chase demons away. Most of the time, worry is caused by demons whispering in your ear. Oh, what if this happens? Oh, that's gonna, you are in trouble. This is gonna go bad. Yada, 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 yada. They love to create strong emotion in people, and it's all darkness and wickedness. So, I mean, if you're worrying a lot, you're spending a lot of time entertaining demons that you've befriended unknowingly, but you have. Stop listening to them. Well, how do you do that? I can't turn it off. That's right, you can't, because, it's like somebody says, don't think about blue monkeys. Now, what did you just do? You just pictured a blue monkey in your head. You can't stop thinking about blue monkeys by not thinking about blue monkeys. No, you shift your attention. You get into His Word. You don't try to stop worrying. You don't try to stop thinking about blue monkeys. You start thinking about Abba Father and His Word. You get your copy of the HalleluYah Scriptures and you open it up to the Psalms or to the Proverbs or any place. Just flip it open and slam your finger down. Read a verse or two and start asking Abba, what's this mean? What's this about? Meditate on it. Think about it. And the most powerful artillery for getting rid of demons is praising the Father. Praising Him and thanking Him, showing your gratitude, or singing to Him. Demons will run out of the room when we start praising Elohim. It's disgusting to them. They can't stand it. And, if you're suffering from depression, what's really going on is you are lacking fellowship with Elohim and other believers. But, most of all, fellowship with Elohim, which is exactly what I was saying. You spend time talking to Him, praising Him, singing to Him, reading His Word and meditating and thinking on that instead of this problem. You don't even know it's a problem. Most of the time, people worry about things that are not really happening, that they might happen. And therefore, they're worrying about something that doesn't even exist. This is the trick of the devil, darkness and confusion. So, that's our study for this week. As always, I hope and I pray that this study is a beracha to you and yours. Abba willing, I'll see you here next week with another study. Some more wonderful time in His Word. Some more time for us to fellowship and dispel depression or worry, garbage. And until then, shalom, my friends.
Now 2,000 years have gone by, it's another working day. Some would rather let it lie, but the question still remains.